Every modern breakthrough lives on a graveyard of brilliant failures. Not because the ideas were bad, but because execution, timing, money, or ethics got in the way. Over the last 2 decades, 6 remarkable AI projects fell short of their promise. But in the world we live in now, their ideas could finally thrive. Launched by Microsoft in March 2016 as a cheeky Twitter chatbot meant to learn from people and speak like a teenager, Tay lived on Twitter for less than a day before it was flooded with and manipulated into spouting racist, violent, and obscene content. Microsoft pulled the plug, and the world learned a brutal lesson. An AI designed to imitate humans will reflect the worst of human behavior if you don't design it for adversaries. But Tay's core idea, fast, casual conversational agents that learn from open interactions, isn't inherently toxic. What failed was deployment strategy. No adversarial filters, no guardrails, and a naive belief that the internet would be a friendly teacher. Now imagine Tay being brought back today. But this time, it's built with guardrails. You'd give it smart filters so it can spot hate or trolling before it learns it. You'd test its personality in safe, private spaces before letting it loose online. And you'd have humans and trusted users rating its behavior so it keeps improving the right way. Keep the fun, keep the humor, but make it learn from good conversations, not the worst corners of the internet. Do that, and you don't just get another chatbot. You get something that could actually help people connect, not tear them apart. IBM Watson for Oncology was supposed to be the future of medicine. It was sold as an AI doctor that could look at your data, scan thousands of research papers, and tell real doctors the best way to treat cancer. It sounded incredible, a superhero sidekick for medicine. But then, the truth came out. Watson wasn't saving lives the way it was advertised. In some cases, it was even suggesting treatments that didn't make sense, or worse, could have been unsafe. The problem wasn't that AI couldn't help doctors. It was that IBM massively overpromised. The tech just wasn't ready, and they skipped the boring but essential part: real testing. In real hospitals, with real patients. Watson went from being the future of healthcare to a cautionary tale almost overnight. But here's the thing, the idea was solid. We just weren't ready yet. With today's medical data, better AI models, and stricter testing, that dream of an AI that works with doctors, not instead of them, could actually become real. Then there's Google Flu Trends. When Google claimed it could predict flu outbreaks faster than public health agencies using search data, it sounded like magic. What followed was less magic and more statistical tragedy. The model drifted, began overestimating flu rates, and was shown to perform worse than simple heuristics. This failure was classic. Blind trust in correlational patterns without continuous validation against the ground truth. The crazy part is, Google Flu Trends wasn't actually a bad idea. Using search data to track outbreaks in real time? That's genius. The problem was how it was built. The system started making wild guesses because it was never really checked against real medical data. Basically, it saw patterns that looked like flu outbreaks, but were just people Googling stuff. If you brought that idea back today, it could actually work, as long as you keep it grounded in real-world numbers. Imagine combining search data with hospital reports, actual lab tests, and smart humans reviewing what the AI thinks it sees. That version, call it Flu Trends 2.0, could spot an epidemic before it happens, not just make flashy headlines after it's too late. Next up, the consumer robot boom that didn't stick. Remember those adorable little robots like Cosmo and Vector from Anki or Jibo, the one that could dance, smile, and talk to you like a friend? People loved them. They were charming, emotional, and felt like the first step toward living with real robot companions. But behind the scenes, the business just didn't work. Anki sold millions of robots, but the costs were insane. Hardware, servers, updates, and when the money ran out, the robots went silent. Same story with Jibo. Great personality, terrible timing. Here's the thing though, the idea was solid. If those robots came out today, they'd have a real shot. Make them smarter on device, so they don't rely on expensive cloud systems. Let people upgrade parts instead of replacing the whole robot. And give them a real purpose, helping the elderly, supporting kids with special needs, or just being company for someone living alone. Do that, and those failed robots from a few years ago might actually become the home companions we always dreamed of. The next story is serious, even tragic, but it teaches an important lesson. In 2018, an Uber self-driving car in Tempe, Arizona, hit and killed a pedestrian. Investigators found a chain reaction of problems. The car didn't see the person in time, the safety driver wasn't ready to intervene, and the rules for testing autonomous vehicles were still fuzzy. It was a wake-up call. Moving fast without solid safety checks can have deadly consequences. But self-driving cars aren't a lost cause. A second chance means slowing down and being smart. Start with restricted test areas instead of busy streets. Build backup sensors so the car can double-check itself, and make sure human drivers know exactly when and how to take control. Basically, where people's lives are on the line, caution beats bravado. Get it right, and autonomous mobility could finally live up to its promise. Finally, let's talk about a hidden gem, Facebook's M Assistant. M was part AI, part human, a smart helper that could book restaurants, schedule errands, and get things done for you. It actually worked. The problem? It relied too much on humans behind the scenes, which made it expensive and impossible to scale. When Facebook shut it down in 2018, it felt like a quiet, noble failure. But here's the exciting part. The core idea is stronger than ever today. Modern AI, especially large language models, can take over most of the work, while humans step in only for tricky or high-risk tasks. This hybrid approach could finally deliver real, practical assistance. Fast, affordable, and safe. In other words, M's vision wasn't wrong. It was just ahead of its time. Today, it could actually work. Looking at all these stories, a clear pattern emerges. Brilliant ideas, real-world challenges, and projects that seem to fail. But failure isn't the end, it's a lesson. Tay shows us why AI needs safety built in. Watson reminds us to test and scope big ideas carefully. Google Flu Trends teaches the importance of keeping an eye on your data. Uber's crash proves that safety must always come first. And Facebook M demonstrates that humans and AI can work together, if done the right way.